Hi, my name is Tara Nepper. You know, we get into a routine of doing things and going to places, and they become so routine that we don't like doing them anymore. And specifically things like a yearly doctor's checkup, an eye exam, a yearly mammogram. And for me, I was the same way. My yearly mammogram was always fine, and so going to it became a chore. And so I put it off and I missed it 1 year. But when I made it up, I realized that it was a good thing I did, because they caught my breast cancer early. And ultimately it was a year out of my life that changed my life. I support the Susan G. Komen Foundation specifically because the money that they raise here in Roanoke, 75% of it stays in Roanoke. And that not only means that they give money for research, and they also make sure that people who are underinsured or uninsured can still have a yearly mammogram, they can have diagnostic tests, they can have lumpectomies, mastectomies, and all of those, and reconstruction, all of those things that I take for granted that I get through my insurance. There's so many people in Roanoke who fail to have their test because they fear they can't pay for it. And Susan G. Komen takes that fear away from them. And so I urge you to support the Susan G. Komen Foundation during Virginia Western CVC Drive this year.
Hi, my name is Becky Chauncey, and I just want to speak to you all on behalf of the Virginia Western CVC campaign and let you know that it has touched my heart for several years. I've been at Virginia Western for 24 years. My son's life and our family life changed on March 20th, 1995. He was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes. And what is very close to my heart as far as the CVC campaign is concerned is the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, or JDRF. We have been members of JDRF ever since 1995, and I have walked in almost every one of the walks since then. It is very important to me as a mother and as a parent watching your child suffer through diabetes for their childhood. And the first hardest thing I think I remember was when they said that you have to give your child a shot. And I'm like, you're always taught not to hurt your child. And I looked at the doctor and I said, I can't do that. And he said, well, he's going to die. And I said, give me the needle. So at that point, our lives changed drastically. My son is now almost 27 years old. He is healthy and thriving and lives a full life and will continue to do so thanks to JDRF. The research that they have done in the last 20 years has produced insulin pumps, has produced isolate research, which is cell stem research, and also a possible artificial pancreas. So these are things that may keep my son alive for many, many, many years beyond a normal diabetic's life 20 or 30 years ago. When we first started with his insulin and his diabetes, there was maybe 4 things that were diabetic on the market. And now there's hundreds and hundreds of things. So you can see through research and through public awareness that the CVC campaign here at Virginia Western works, and it benefits people locally, and it also benefits people worldwide.
I'm Marla Whiteside. I work at Virginia Western, and I'm the local funds accountant. I'm here to tell you about my experience with the Heart Association. I never thought it would happen to us, but it did. My husband was 57 years old. He was in good health. He had just went hiking the week before, and I get this phone call. He had been in Myrtle Beach at a car show. Him and his buddy were coming back through Martinsville. And he calls me and he says, Marla, can you meet me at the hospital? I'm having chest pains. I said, what? He said, yeah, I'm having really severe chest pains. Meet me at the hospital. So I said, okay, I'll be there. So I get in the car, I rush over to Roanoke Memorial, thinking that I would beat him there, but he was already there. I get there, and there's like 6 people in the room working on him. He was really red in the face. He was awake, he was alert, talking to me. The doctor takes me out in the hallway, and he says, yes, your husband has had a major heart attack. He said, but my concern is right now is his blood pressure. His blood pressure was like 260 over 200. He said, we've got to get that down. He said, but I'm also concerned, he told me about he had fallen off the roof 3 months before that and tore his shoulder up. And he'd been having pain in his back in between his ribs. So he said, I'm afraid he might have a torn aorta. He said, so we're getting ready to do a scan on him to see if he does have that. He said, it's rare, but I can't rule it out. I said, okay. So I was nervous, standing in the hallway, seeing your husband laying there, not knowing what's going on. So about the time they was getting ready to do the scan, but something in the room happened. I mean, everybody started screaming. They said, get him out of here before he has a second heart attack. Take him up to the 4th floor to the cath lab. So what happened was his EKG came out and it was horrible. He was getting ready to have a second heart attack. So they rush him out. They said, meet us on the 4th floor. So I get out, I go running to the 4th floor. You don't know anything. You sit there and you wait, and other people sitting there. But it only was less than an hour, and the doctor comes out and calls my name. And he said, Mrs. Whiteside, your husband is okay. He said, he's a very, very lucky man. He had one blockage at 100% in what they call the widowmaker. He said 96% of the patients with this die because they don't get to the hospital quick enough. So he was very, very lucky. His friend that had him, when they come through Martinsville, he said, do you want to turn around and go back to Martinsville or you want to go to Roanoke? And he said, no, take me to Roanoke. So the doctors at Roanoke Memorial saved him. That's what saved my husband that day. The decision he made to go there with the advanced technology of what they have with the stents, they saved his life that day. If he had made the wrong decision and went back to the other hospital, he wouldn't be alive today because they don't have the technology to react that quick. But I did not know until now in reading that the #1 killer for men and women in this country is heart. So please give to the American Heart Association. That's what I'm giving to today. But any charity that you find that hits you or your family, I would strongly suggest that you give to what charity that hits you and your household, because you never know it's going to hit you. Thank you.